Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Thursday night Scrap Your Scraps. Sorry, I've been away for the last couple of weeks, and I am back now, and I'm very happy to be here. And I wanted to show you a quick little project made out of regulation-sized envelopes. You can use any size envelope you want. I particularly chose this size so that the finished product for me is going to be a coupon keeper, and sometimes I print coupons off the internet and they're 8.5 by 11, so I want to have something that will take that 8.5 size. But you can certainly make these with smaller envelopes as well. We will be gluing them together so that we end up with a folio. We are going to make pockets as well as inserts for our coupon book. So I'm going to destroy one of these, not destroy it, but open it up, because we are going to use it as a template for rounding our papers when we put our decorating papers on top of our envelopes, because you want it to look pretty. You don't want to have it just plain and ordinary white. But this has a bit of an overcut on it. There we go. All right, so this is going to be my template. I am going to be using this side of the piece in order to make sure that my papers, when I'm decorating, are going to work well and have that nice shape to it. So I'm putting that up on my computer out of the way. And what we are going to work with right now is our pieces of envelope. So we are going to first of all create our cover envelope, and the cover envelope is going to have two pieces. It's going to have the regular envelope going in one direction and another envelope going in the opposite direction, and we are going to stick those down so that they fold in the middle like that. So they basically fold like that. Okay, so I'm not going to need this piece, but I'm not going to do anything with that right now. What I am going to do is put sticky along this edge here. So I'm getting my 1/4 inch tape. It can be a 1/2 inch if you want. I just find that I don't need all the extra bulk. And I just put that along the fold line on the back of the envelope. So this has got the glue on it. I am taping the back of the envelope. If we use the glue and use that as our adhesive, we would end up blocking the envelope, not the envelope, blocking this side, because it would stick to the upper edge, not the bottom edge, and we want it to really stick to the bottom edge. I'm now just going to trim off a little bit of this because we don't need all that extra bulk. Toss that away. Now I'm going to fold my edges up like this, because I want to be able to pull them out. Is that the right direction? No. Yes, because I have to be able to pull them from behind. And I don't want anything to stick until I've got it placed in there properly. So I'm just going to make sure everything folds up nicely before I move on to sticking it all down. There we go. That looks pretty good. Whoops. I'm a little bit off. You want it to be as close to perfect as possible. You gotta fiddle with the first one. The first one is the one that starts the whole shebang, so you want to make sure that it is lined up properly. There we go. All right. That took a bit, and now I can just pull this out and everything will stick together. All right, so now this is the next piece that I'm going to actually attach my next, or is it this way? I'm going to attach my next envelope to. Yes, that's the way I'm going. Okay, so now on this one, So here's the first one. We have the inner pockets of the envelopes on either side. Now I'm going to fold it over. It's going to be my base for attaching this one, but I am just going to glue it along 3 edges. So I'm going to use my smaller 1/8 of an inch tape because I want that pocket to be as big as possible for any oversized things I might want to put in it. Or if they're undersized things, I can get a bunch of undersized things in, not just big things. So we're going down there. All right, and I want to keep my flaps at the bottom edge, and this is going, whoops, I forgot a side, sorry. You have to have all 3 sides of your pocket ready to go. Again, I'm just going to fold these guys up on either side, and this one down on either side. And with the flap on the bottom and the smooth side on the side I'm attaching, I'm going to line up those bottoms and edges. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out the adhesive, and if we go back to the front, I have my 2 pockets, one here and one here, and now I have a pocket in between the next set. So here we have another set. Okay, this is going to go inside, and I'm going to put my heavier tape on there because it's at the seam or the spine. Make sure you have it flipped over so your adhesive is down. We're putting this on the good side. There we go. Turning this over, turning this over. Give this a little trim. I'm not going to trim it quite as tight as I did the last time. It seemed to cause me a bit of a trouble. And now I'm going to stick these guys in here. Actually, I might even cover that up. Make it even just a little bit smaller in case I get stuck. Making those tabs only about 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to stick that in there, that in there. Make sure we line it up. All right. And then we can pull this out. And there we go. We have our next set. So if we come from the front, this is our front. We open it up, we have a pocket here, pocket here. Then we have a pocket there. Then we have a pocket here, and a pocket here. And we're going to create our last 2 pockets. Let's see. How deep? That's not a problem. All right. So again, we're going to put our edging around, our thinner edging around, so we have lots of space in that pocket for things. And along the bottom edge, which is the spine. And then across this side. All right. Make sure everything's laid down. And just turn these over. Oh, I won't do the tops, I'll do the bottoms. So we can line up the corners in the bottom. Now remembering that we are attaching the good side, we're going to go in and line up the bottom on both sides. And then we can pull this out, and this out, and this out, and this will give us our flap. So going back here, we have our front, 2 inner pockets, an end pocket, an inner pocket, again 2, an end pocket, and now we're going to have to do a finishing cover. So the cover is going to be 2 more envelopes. So just grab 2 more envelopes. So what we're going to do with these envelopes is this is going to be going in there, and this one, actually maybe I will do it this way. Nope, I won't do it that way. So this one is going in here to finish off, but we need to have our cover. So this is going to attach here so that when we close everything up, our cover goes over top. Did you see that? Okay. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 envelopes, because we need our fancy one as well. Okay. So again, along the edge, we're putting that in there. So we need to put tape across the edge. Here is our licking adhesive, and we're just going to go across the edge above the line on the back side of the envelope. There we go. And we're just going to turn that a tiny bit, this, a tiny bit, trim this down, and we're going to tuck this inside here, lining it up so that it folds, pulling that off. And now we're going to attach this piece to the back of that piece, just using the adhesive, the licky adhesive, and a piece of adhesive. Oh look, that will fit nicely in there. So along the inside of our back cover, pull off that adhesive. Let's find out where we are here. And this is going to sit right in the corner of this one, making sure that we have it right at the corner. And now we have a secondary pocket there. This closes up and becomes your cover. All right. Then we're going to just trim this piece off very carefully. Try not to trim anything else. Actually, we're going to trim all of those off. We don't need any of those. And there is our pocket. This one I'm just going to stick down. That was the back that had our adhesive on it, because we're going to cover that up. So now we have a nice solid spine. So there's our cover piece, and we're going to flip, flip. We have a pocket here, we have a pocket here, we have a pocket here, we have a pocket on the edge, pocket here, pocket here, pocket on the edge, pocket here, and pocket there. And then it all closes up. And now we're going to get a couple of pieces of elastic. You can do string and use it and do a tie-up. I like to have elastic. So what I do is I just measure, I give myself about a 1/2 inch off the edge in both directions. Actually, I don't even need a 1/2 inch because I want it to be, I want it to have, yeah, I want it just to meet. And we're going to pull it slightly tight so there is some flex to it when we cut it. And then I'll get you an exact measurement. So this is 7 3/4 inches. So you're going to get 7 3/4 inches of elastic, and you need 2 pieces, one for bottom, one for top. I've got black as well, but I like the white. It allows me to use multiple colors. Black sometimes is a bit too dark on lighter things. All right, so now we're going to do our decorating. So I've pulled out my purple scraps, and I know that the measurement, as soon as I find my ruler, I want to give myself about 1/8 of an inch from the side. So my measurement for my width is going to be 4 inches. And let me just use my mat here. And if I do the same thing with 1/8 of an inch, I've got 9 1/4 inches. So 4 by 9 1/4 inches. So I need to make sure that I'm pulling out materials that will provide me those widths. And first of all, let's just pull out all the I know, I should go in here first because sometimes I have nice thick things that are 4 inches wide, but not today. Today they're all thin things. And then I have some plain stuff that is more than 4 inches wide, but I don't want to use plain. I like it to be decorative. So we're going to keep it with pattern paper. All right. So I'm going to pull out all the pattern paper I have in here. These are my scraps. I have other pattern paper that are not scraps, but I would like to use up all my scraps. So that's the first bin I go to. Now I know I'm not going to put snowflakes, so this one isn't going to work. We're going to get rid of that. These are similar in tone, and they're like a reddish purple. I'm not sure that I want to use that. This, I was thinking I might go all the way around. So this actually is wide enough to go all the way around to cover the entire piece. What about that one? That one's just a bit short, but I certainly might be able to use it. This one is good for one piece. I don't want more of that. I've got some of this, and some of that, and some of that. So I got enough pieces of things to do some cutting to create the pages that I want. And these guys, because I am not going to use them, are just going to go back in the bin for now. And I'm going to get my cutter out. Now, I wanted one piece to go all the way around. And I actually think it might be this one, if I have enough. And I do have enough. That's perfect. Okay. So I'm going to do a little tricky thing with this. I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch just to accommodate the thickness of what's going on here. So that means I need 8 1/8 inch of paper. So let's make sure I have enough paper for 8 1/8 inch to go around the outside, and I certainly do. So we're going to cut off 8 1/8 inch. This is going to go back in my scraps, and I said 9 1/4 inches tall. So 9 1/4 inches tall. All right. Now I'm going to get my score more accurate. So 4 1/8 going to be my first score line. Move it back to 4 will be my second score line. All right, that worked much better. And now I can see my 2 score lines. I'm just going to give my paper a fold along those score lines. Since I can't find my phone folder, this is light enough paper, I don't think I'll have a problem with it. Just need to make sure I've got it lined up properly at the ends here before I make my final fold. There we go. So that gives me my 1/8 inch spine that will wrap around the entire outside of my book, giving that look to it. But I'm going to put this on last because I want to go in and I want to do my inner pages first. So first we're going to do this page and the inside of this page, and I prefer to try to keep the pages the same. This should work. I will use other ones that aren't the same at another time. So this is a flat surface, and it's going to be a straight 4 by 9¼ inch cut. Sorry, I've got tools everywhere here. Get out of the way. So I'm going to go down here. I think I'll try this side. Oh, interesting. This isn't exactly straight, so I'm just going to straighten it up. I'm going to trim this off just a smidge because it's got a rough cut edge. I must have done it with a blade that was not sharp. There we go. All right. So now let's cut this at 4. And I have 2 identical pieces of paper to use on this spread. So one of these papers is going to require this notch. The other one is just going to be flat. And I also forgot to cut them 9¼ inches. It's going to go back in my scrap. So sometimes when I cut them so that they match, so it's kind of fun to keep them in the same orientation. So these I can just stick on with my tape runner, which I need to grab. My big runner ran out. All right, so just checking again. It's going to go like that. This is going to get centered there. All right, and then this one is going to get a notch cut out of it, and that is the right side. So I'm going to cut this notch, and that's what we did for this. So all I do is I line up the top edge, try to center it on the piece, and I use my camera lights to help me get it centered on the piece. And then I take my sharp pencil and I just lightly trace where I want to cut, trying not to get too hard on the template edge. And then I take my scissors, and you will see that that actually fits in there, but it's a little bit, I need to get about 1/8 inch off of this side. So that might be the case for all of them. I'm going to do a 1/16 inch first, just to make sure. How does that fit? It's 1/8 too big, so it isn't 4 inches that I'm looking for. It's 3 7/8 that I'm looking for. And that would depend on the size of your envelopes. There we go. Because what I want to get is that nice 1/8 inch border all the way around. That's what I'm shooting for. And then I just center that on here, line it up, And there we go. So there is my front two pockets that I first see. Then I'm going to deal with these two pockets like separate pockets. Okay, I'm going to tuck that one behind because I don't need that till later when we do the outer. And I am going to take, this really doesn't have a direction, so I don't know if it matters. But if I do it this way, I can save a nice big chunk of paper. Although, this one is 12 inches on this side, yes. So I am going to take the 4 inches. So that would be 3 1/8 and 3 7/8 and 3 7/8. Because this, both sides of this need to be trimmed. So it's 3 7/8 and 3 7/8, and then I have this. Oh, that's too bad. I meant to cut off the 9 1/4 first, and I would have had a nicer amount of paper left over. Oh well. Now I have some mats. That's too bad. Okay, looking to see which way it lines up. Lines up that way. I need to draw. Need to sort of line this up. I can do this on the back side. And then just make sure. There. And you can see my line now. Or maybe you can't. Yeah, very lightly. And then you're going to cut that. And that will fit on this side. So let's just put that down right away. Line this up here. There we go. That gives us our border all the way around, and we have a border on the inside edge. Now, I'll check this. So this is the top that I have to trim. Center it on the inside. Center this in the space. And then we have our nice white opening there. All right, so we've done the front. Let's get this. There we go. So this is the cover here. Then we open it up, we have our 2 matching pages, and then we open it up and we have 2 matching pockets. And then I've got the end spot in the middle, and then I open it again and I have another 2 matching pockets. So what else do I have here? I have this paper. So we're going to do this paper, but we're going to do it right. I'm going to make sure that I do 6, 7 3/4 is what I need the width to be. 7 3/4. So I take that big chunk off first, and then I do my 9 1/4, so I get another big chunk, not those 2 little chunks that I had before. There we go. And now this will be 3 7/8, and that should give me 2 pieces that are the same, and it does. Perfect. Just got to figure out the math. And now, let's see, where did I make that cut? I made that cut there. So that's one side, and this is the other side. Turn this around and line it up. And do my cut. There we go. That gives me my nice white line. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be the other side. Line this up again. There we go. And there we have our white border. Okay, and then this is our final 2-page spread right here. Oh, and we have that pocket in there. The final 2-page spread. Now this, look looks the same as the other one, but it's darker, so I am going to use it. And I think I said 7 3/4 wide, and then 9 1/4 long. It's to get the best use out of our paper. Oops. And then I do 3 7/8. That on there. There we go. Have a nice border around there. And now this one is going to go this way. Just make sure. There we go, and you have your white line there. Okay, so that's everything finished on the inside. Now we need to do the outside. Where did I put that? So that's this one here. Now, the tricky thing is we need to get our elastic in our outside. So we are going to be sticking it in on either side of the outside edge. Oh, let me try that the other way. That's a little bit too big. I don't think I like that. So I'm going to go back to the original, which is 3 7/8, and I'm going to do it separately. That will actually make it easier for me to, or do I want to do that? Let me think. So if I have this like this, yeah, I'm just going to stick these on like I did the other ones, because I'm afraid this is going to buckle, and then it will allow me a different place to actually put my adhesive for the elastic. So we're going to go to 3 3/4. I'm going to do 4. I just want to see how this is going to work out, because they're flat parts. And we're going to do dry fitting it to make sure it looks okay. So this is going to go on here. So I'm going to leave that piece that I left for the 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to leave that piece because the back is a slight bit bigger. And I want to make sure that it covers the majority of it, which it does. Okay, beautiful. All right. Oh, and we have to put in our elastic now. So our elastic is going to come from the outside. So it's basically going to be glued underneath and wrap around this way. So we're going to make sure we have some really good glue. And let's see, I want it about 1 inch from the edge. Ruler, there it is. So I'm going to be putting my adhesive, if I can get it to come out. We're going to give it 1 inch. Oh goodness, it's been really sweaty up here in Ontario, which doesn't make glue very happy. Okay, after a 20-minute glue cleanup job, we are back in business. So I'm going to put a nice blob there, and I'm just going to put about 1/4 of an inch there. Oh, sticky. Let's go back. All right, what do I want to do to reinforce that? I do not remember having to do this last time, so that's interesting. So I think I will just use a touch of glass to keep it secure. Just flatten it down. Craft room humidity issue. Nothing is sticking. If all else fails, use tape. So let's try that. Oops, split my fingernail. Get some of my adhesive tape here. And we just want to keep it down long enough so I don't want it to show beyond the paper. I just want to hold it down. And we're going to do the same on this side. A little bit of glue. Make sure I fold it properly so it's flat. And put a little extra and a piece of tape on top. Make sure I don't have any of the glue popping out. That should work. So that was an inch from that end. We're going to do the same thing, an inch. I hope I did that an inch. Yes, I did. I'm going to do the same thing an inch from this end. Get my other piece, extra adhesive. Sorry folks, it's not playing well today. Piece of tape. Any of the extra. There we go. Flip her over. So that was a combination of liquid glass or touch of glass or glossy accents, whatever you have, and Dry's clear art glitter glue and washi tape. I'm pretty sure that should keep everything down. Okay. How are we doing? Okay. I'm not even going to test them until after we put our covers on. Oh, and look at that. I dinged my... Now, which goes on what? That can go on there. And I'm just going to put a little extra adhesive just on either side to make sure that I don't have any slipping. Now, because you're going to twist it to put it over, there shouldn't be any pull on the paper. So it should hold just nicely. Okay, now we'll do our last page. Again, just a little extra. Lining this up. I'm going to go right with the edge on this side because I have some paper that's already there. And this will be like a little extension. There we go. And there's our folder. And I don't know if this is going to be a good thing to do. And then you just wrap the ends, cross them over. And there you have it. There is your finished book. I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. It was a little wonky, first one back in a while, and I hope you can find it useful. And these make great little housewarming gifts for friends, and you can like write something on it like coupons, and you can have it vertical or you could have it horizontal. So customizing it for whoever you're making it for or yourself is totally up to you. And I will show you what I do to the front of it in the picture at the beginning of the video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with your friends. Invite your friends to join my channel. Join my channel yourself if you haven't yet. There will be an option to join the channel at the end of the video. And we will see you next week. Bye.